Hello people, this is Mark from Kharischangeworks. Guys, hope you are well. Let's look at phase 3, stage 3 of the 7 stages of grief. We've looked at 1. We've looked at number 2. Let's look at this one here. And this one is called guilt and pain. So you've got shock and denial that leads to shock and disbelief, to denial, to guilt and pain. As you can see, it's a downward spiral, which means in many ways when you get this shock and disbelief, whoa, what's happened? Why has this happened? How could it prevent it? And all these kind of questions comes here. Then you go into this denial phase. Can't be true. No, it's wrong. No. And then when you get rock bottom here, there's this process that takes place. Okay, yes, it is true. The confusion in my head is now being sorted out a little bit. I can think a little bit clearer. Not necessarily clear, but clearer in reference to the grieving process. Then comes guilt and pain. Two different things, yet they are combined in one. Guilt normally comes in when you start thinking about the things that you wish you had done, the things that you wished you never said, the things that you wished you could have done, should have done, those kind of questions. And that's normally when guilt is applied by yourself to yourself because of how you feel at that moment in time in reference to what happened in the past with the person that is now no longer with us. That then goes hand in hand with some form of pain. It's not a physical pain. This is an emotional pain. And this pain here leads people to the point, it's like a driving force to say, I don't want this pain. I need to do something about it. Consider a headache. When you've got a headache, you go, I don't want this headache. I don't need this headache. This thing is in my way. I can't do what I need to do. It's taking my focus away from the task at hand. You go to the cupboard and you have some painkillers. And within a few minutes, the headache is now being addressed. So in this emotional pain phase here, most people then all of a sudden develop some form of coping mechanism. Now in the jobs that I've done in the past, drugs, alcohol, gambling, they are the 3 most prominent coping mechanisms that has been utilized by the folks that I had interactions with in reference to some grief in their life because of some pain that they are experiencing at that moment in time. So, be aware. Shock and disbelief is but the first stage. Then there's this downward spiral like I mentioned. Then it's denial, guilt and pain, coping mechanism. Because we don't like being there, we don't like guilt, we don't like pain. Now I'm going to say at this particular point in time, there might even be anger in there. Because of the guilt and the pain. And this is not anger at the world. This is self-inflicted anger. I shouldn't have. I should have. So you get guilt and pain that at times might be packaged up like a little parcel. And that parcel, the outer wrapping, is called anger. Often. So take note. Coping strategy. If this is you in this phase here, be aware and be alert to what your coping mechanism is. Because you see, if I could just go up here for a second, if your coping mechanism is positive, you're going to go upwards. If you, for argument's sake, develop a new hobby, develop a sport, start finding an interest that you've always wanted to do, it will drive you upwards. However, if your coping mechanism is negative, such as drugs, alcohol, and those kind of things, it will drive you into a place of despair. Where here, it will drive you to a place of hope. So just be aware of guilt, pain, and anger. But this here is the thing that I want to draw our attention to when we write here at the bottom. Your coping mechanism determines which direction are you going to go further down, or are you going to start making that upward curve? Stage 3. As before, I hope this has caused you to think, particularly regarding what your coping mechanism is. And these here, anger, guilt and pain, a lot of people stay stuck there for long periods of time. This one here, not so long. Maybe a couple of weeks or so. Denial, likewise, not too long. But here is where the memories come in. The celebrations, the events, Christmases, birthdays, anniversaries, those kind of things. And they all get squashed together. And that leads to this. The coping mechanism. That's all I want to say at this particular point in time. Be aware, become aware. And I'll even go as far as to say, be brutally honest about this one in relationship to these 3 things here. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's made sense and I hope it's encouraging you. At the same time, when you notice other people who are experiencing this word here, grief, and you notice that they are there, anger, guilt and pain, listen to the language that they use. Look at their body language that they use. Listen to what they say, how they say it, how they, bless me, how they conduct themselves in terms of their behaviors. Being kind and compassionate and caring is the key word here, to help them this way and not that way. Please, to all the YouTube admin, I would like to hear your comments. But for now, this is Mark from Kharischangeworks, and I'll speak to you soon.